Hey guys, Ernie here, Paleo Hiker MD, and welcome back to another Wednesday gear review. Today's video we're going to talk about two different ferro rods that I own and look at the differences between both of them. Now I have quite a few different ferro rods and I've had them over the years. These two are two that I use very frequently. Now a specific use for these are for carrying in my emergency bag or just general for bushcrafting or whatever I'm doing. I like being able to create the biggest spark I can. It really makes things easiest. I also found that these particular rods are much easier for my kids to use. Their hands are smaller and they can really get a better grip on them. Now, I have one video where I use a specific ferro rod that I use in ultralight backpacking. I'm not reviewing that today. That one was reviewed in detail there. It is much lighter than both of these, and in that video, like I said, I use it specifically for ultralight because it does save me some weight and it still gives me the functionality that I need. But these two are different. So today on the Wednesday gear review, we're going to look at two different ferro rods. Here we go. All right, guys, so what are we going to look at today? We've got two ferro rods. Both of them are, I think, very good, very well recognized and known. This is the Grylls Gerber ferro rod. It's a nice quality ferro rod. It feels good on the hands. And we're going to take a look at that, look at the specifications and see what it's all about. And second is the Strike Force by Ultimate Survival. Again, this is, I think, an excellent ferro rod, and it works very well at creating a very good spark. So let's look at both of these, let's weigh them, look at their specifications, and then we'll see how they work. All right, guys, so here are our two ferro rods. First, let's take a look at this Grylls. You guys are going to see my reflection here, but it has a lot of kind of typical Grylls stuff all over it. It's got ways to do SOS with Morse code. It's got several good survival things. You can see here it says need help, and then on the other side is the universal sign for don't need help. So that's all kind of neat stuff. It does have, although I do not currently have anything in it, you can pull the top off and there is a place for tinder, in particular cotton seems to be a good thing. The actual ferro rod itself is fairly thick in caliber, as you can see. This, I'm not even sure what this is made out of, but it is very sturdy and it's put together very well. Let's go ahead and weigh it and put it back together here. I'm going to turn on my scale here. Let's see how much it weighs. It weighs 2.5 ounces, which is pretty good. It does normally come with an emergency whistle that I've taken off and a lanyard. I've taken it off and put on another piece of my kit. And as I said, it does have waterproof storage for some tinder. So that's the Grylls. Now we'll move over to the Strike Force, which again is by Ultimate Survival. It has a very thick ferro rod, you can see, bigger in diameter than the Grylls. I'll get them out so you can see the difference. It is rated for 1,000 strikes, and this again is a very strong material. It's well put in there. It has a very long piece on the striker here, and as the Grylls has, it's much easier to get into this. But this has a really big compartment for tons. It actually is designed to hold one wet fire, but I don't keep a wet fire in. I keep tons of cotton. I probably have 6 cotton balls in there, and it's got even room to spare. So let's weigh this guy and see what it weighs. So it weighs 3.15 ounces, just a little bit more weight. Importantly, this is made in the United States. I think that people do like to know that. It doesn't say where the Grylls is, but I would bet it's not made in the United States. So that is definitely a plus for the Strike Force. So let's go over and we're going to look and see what kind of sparks we can get off each of these. All right, guys, so here we go. This is going to be a pretty informal test, but this is the Grylls. It is important if you're using this that you strike. I found that if you strike from this side with this configuration, I don't get nearly as good a sparks. I think it's definitely designed to go like this. And when you do it, you get pretty good sparks. So that's the Bear Grylls. Now, the Strike Force. Again, this is pretty beefy. This particular rod is quite large, and you can use this either way, as far as whether it's this way or this way, but you definitely get more clearance this way. So let's get some sparks off this one. I think you can see just barely scratching, I get more sparks. I'm not even putting any real pressure, and I'm getting more sparks than the Bear Grylls. Now if I really give it some effort, I get, sorry about that, trying to look at the camera and do this, you can see you get tremendous sparks without really, and that's not, I mean, if I give it my full effort, I get some pretty impressive sparks. Again, just barely even scratching, I get pretty good sparks. So that's the difference between the two. Let me go ahead and one more time and show you all the Bear Grylls. If I give it just what I was giving it, this is nothing, I'm not going to basically get anything off this. If I give this just a little bit, I get it. So there's the difference. Alright guys, so there we go. That is our review of these two ferro rods, the Bear Grylls and the Strike Force. So which one do I think is better? Well, honestly, they're both very good ferro rods. I carry the Bear Grylls in my everyday carry, as y'all have seen in some of my other videos. I think it works well. It's a little bit more compact. But truthfully, when I'm using a ferro rod, I use this one. The one I use most frequently is a Strike Force. I carry it with me, and for anything that I need to use a ferro rod for, I use this one. The reason is pretty simple. I get the brightest, best sparks from it. It feels best in my hand. I really like the beefiness of it, and it just allows me to get a really good spark. I also like the fact that it can carry a tremendous amount of tinder in the top. The Bear Grylls can really hold about 1 cotton ball, maybe pushing it 2 cotton balls. I think I could probably squeeze in 8 or 10 cotton balls in here, and like I said, I could even open up a wet fire, put it in there, and probably have room to put a couple of cotton balls as well. So in general, I favor the Strike Force for everyday use, just because of those reasons. I'd love to hear you guys' opinion. Again, I think the Bear Grylls is great. I carry it in my everyday carry, and it has worked very well for me. I've gotten quite a bit of use out of it. So what do you guys think? And if there's any comments or questions, I'd love to hear them. If there's any suggestions for potential gear reviews in the future, just shoot them at me. You never know, maybe I'll purchase something and see how it performs under our gear review. So anyway, as always, we appreciate you guys watching. I really appreciate the comments and the interaction on YouTube. YouTube really is all about social interaction, and anything you guys have or any comments, good or bad, throw them my way. Like the video if you do, subscribe, comment. I love to interact with all you guys. We have lots of plans for the Paleo Hiker MD channel. We're continuing to grow all the time. The kids are getting more and more excited about it, and I appreciate everyone watching. I'll see you guys next week for another gear review. Until then, stay tuned, and we'll see what's around the corner. Take care.